Hello everyone, welcome back to the Bookla channel. Today we have a very clean episode. Recently, a furniture company contacted us with a very specific request. They offer many services and they require each service to be booked differently. Their services are furniture cleaning, mattress cleaning, carpet cleaning, general home cleaning, and furniture removal. The challenge was that the carpet needs to be booked by the amount of carpet that they are cleaning in square meters. The couch by the amount of seats. The mattresses, they need to know how many mattresses and how big is this mattress. The truck driver needs to know if there is any parking, the exact address of your home, and then how high into the sky do you live. Is it a building? Is it a home? Finally, the cleaning team requires to be booked by hour, and they also want to sell additional items as add-ons. Well, the Bookla component did it all, and I thought it was a very specific case and I should share it with the world. So if you're into the business of cleaning furniture, or you're into the business of building websites for such businesses, then this video is definitely for you. If you're ready to start, let's begin. Before we start adding services or resources or even playing around with plugins, let me show you all the elements I will be using today so you can follow along if you like. Besides the Bookla platform, I will also be using the Bookla Styler app. You can get there through component.bookla.com. Here you will find a sample of our booking component and you can play around with it. You can see the functionality and you can also link your own component using this panel on the left. You can add your API key and then the company and service ID, and then you will have a replica of your component in this Bookla styler. Here you can change around the theme, you can play it with the colors, the font, the size, so you can make it very native to your site. For example, you could set the colors to this light blue, even change the background and make it all kind of crazy things that you need to for your web, so you can be sure that it will be native to the site you're integrating it on or the app you're going to be using. Besides this, I will also be using the Bookla documentation page. You can access through this quick link here, or you can just type docs.bookla.com. Why? Because in case we forget anything or we have some doubts on how to set up any special component, then we can come here to the start guide and then, for example, how to set up services and then how to set up flexible services. And then we can go over this and then be sure that we're doing it correctly. Finally, I will be going to Framer because here we have a sample website on which we will add our component, and then we build this one using a free template that we found, and I have added a CMS collection for each one of the different services that we're going to be using today. So mattress cleaning, carpet cleaning, couch renewal, deep cleaning, and furniture removal. So all of these services require different type of bookings. Some are more specific, some require some extra information, and then here we will add our booking components, all of them with different setups and different functionalities. So now let's go back to the Bookla platform. If you don't know how to get here, because you are not landing on the page like I did, just go to bookla.com and there you can either create an account or sign in. Let's go back to a brand new company so you can see how we build it up from zero. Coming back to our original Bookla platform, today we're working with Fresh Nest, furniture cleaning company. The first thing we need to do is add new services. So we're going to click on new service and then we will name our service. This one will be mattress cleaning. We hit next and then we need to decide, will it be flexible, fixed, group ticket days? Today we're going to be concerned with fixed and flexible. This means that people can choose the service in a fixed predetermined duration, for example 3 hours of house cleaning, and they cannot increase the amount of hours if they wanted to. So it's from 1 to 4, so that's a fixed service. On the flexible one, they can request the service at 2 and then increase the amount of hours that they want to enjoy this service. For example, house cleaning, you can either book 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, starting at 2. On the fixed, it will be from 2 to 4, and that's it. So for the first services, let's make a fixed duration because we can estimate how long does it takes to clean a mattress. The customer cannot book 17 minutes of mattress clean. Let's click continue, and then we're gonna choose the duration. In this case, let's say 2 hours. And then the type of booking. It can either be instant, so whenever there is availability, they can book. It can need confirmation in case of the furniture removal. For example, we need to know the address, is there parking around, and all of these things. So we need to confirm before it's automatically booked. And then needs prepayment refers to that. It needs to be prepaid in order to be booked, for us to be sure that people will actually commit to the service. So this one, let's make it instant. And we can also customize the booking intervals. So this means that how often in between each hour they can book it. So at 11, 11:15, 11:16, or 11, at 10, at 12, at 13, etc. Let's go ahead and create the first service. We have mattress cleaning. Now we need to fill out some more useful things. First of all is the price. We can choose the currency among almost all of them in the world, but for today we're working with dollars. And then we save. We can also add the tax rate that is required in your state, your country. So let's use a 10% for this example, and let's make it inclusive. If we don't make it inclusive, then it will be added at the end of the total. But for now, let's include it on the price. What you see is what you pay. Save. Now we have a currency and a tax percentage that will be universal to the rest of the rules we apply to this service. We need to add a price rule because we can have multiple price rules based on days. For example, on the weekends is more expensive than on the weekdays. On the morning is more expensive or cheaper than later on the evening. Now we're going to add the price of the service. It will be $25 to clean a mattress. I guess that's fair price. I don't know how much is a mattress cleaning nowadays. Actually, I never got one in my life. And we'll limit this price to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, and Friday. And then we're not gonna limit it to any hours. It's the same rate every single hour of the day. Create. But I would also like to add another price rule. For the people that need it on the weekends, it will be $35. And then we will limit to these 2 days. By the way, compare price is if you want to run a discount, for example, and then you want your booking component to show 35 crossed now 25, this type of offer, you could say compare price 45. So it will say before was 45 and then now it's 35. It will actually show it with a cross. Let's not use this for now and then just create. Now we have another 2 fields. Metadata, this is if you really require additional information or you want to provide it, you can customize this, but it's not necessary for today. And then we have settings, in which we can change later on what we just did. And the type of booking. We can also predetermine how long into the past people can book your service. We have the duration. If we want to change it later on, we can. And then we have the booking intervals. We can also add buffer before and buffer after. So imagine you have a car rental services and then you just receive a car. A buffer after will allow 6 hours for this item not to be available for booking until you fill up and clean the car. Or if you book a room, you still need to have it unshown on the booking or unavailable for additional hours to clean it. The same with this service. Let's say we are doing a carpet cleaning until 4, but the team still needs to travel to the other location, still needs to get all the equipment ready, wash the vacuums and all of this stuff. So they need a buffer of 2 hours. So if you book them until 4, they will not be available until 7. That is what it implies. Okay, now we have a service. We are just missing a resource. What is a resource? So a resource is the person, the entity, the equipment, or the space that provides the service itself. If it's a car company, then the resource is the car. If it's a English teacher, then the resource is the teacher itself. If it's a tennis court, then the court is the resource. For today, we're gonna create resource number 1, call it cleaning team. Cleaning team number 1. Great. Now we have our first resource. And as we did with the pricing policy, we need to give ability or conditions to this resource. First one is the working hours. Working hours is just that. What hours do this person, space, or item work? We're gonna say that this person team, because it's a team, so let's say that they work every day from 10 a.m. until 18. And then we can set up an active period in case that some new member of the team is joining in the future. We can prolong it into the future. So for now, let's leave it like this. And we know this resource is working every day from 10 to 18. Now, closing period. Whenever this team goes on vacation, we can add it here and it will not be available. And then metadata, we can cover in another video. So we have a resource and we have a service. Let's link our service with our resource. Linked. And now, here on preview, we can check out all resources, and then we can check out if tomorrow we have availability for the service, and then we can see the different times available. And we can test our booking. So you see, we made a booking, and then the booking is here. We already have the basics of Bookla working. Let's go back to services and continue to add all of our services. So we click here on the add button, and then we add our next service. It will be sofa renewal. And then this type of service will be fixed. Duration of the service, again 2 hours, and the booking instant. Let's continue with the pricing, dollars, 10% tax. And now we add a pricing rule. For this example, we'll do the same price every single day at, I don't know, $35, the first unit. Finally, settings, we're gonna leave unchanged. Maybe we will add a buffer this time after the service of 1 hour. We continue with the following resource, carpet cleaning. The service type, fixed, and the duration, we can say 3 hours. Cleaning a carpet takes longer. The pricing, for this pricing, we're not gonna add any rules because then we'll add the rule with another add-on so we can understand how to price this service using the surface of the carpet to be cleaned. So hold on, I'll show you in a few seconds. Let's continue to add all the resources that we want to provide today. General cleaning. Now, this one will be flexible because you could book a cleaner for 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, and then we can set a minimum and maximum duration. So let's do it flexible. And the booking intervals will be every 2 hours. And let's say that it requires prepayment. Amazing. And finally, we're gonna add furniture removal. So we can test some metadata and we can collect additional data such as address, or is there parking, is there a building, is there the Empire State or the Burj Khalifa on the last floor, or is it just a nice home with a garage? All of that is important. Next. And this service will be fixed because we want the person to tell us the time, and then it will be 2 hours of maybe 1 hour, because it shouldn't take that long to take a couch outside your home. So now we have all our services, 5 of them. And we can start adding more resources because this cleaning team, we can edit the name of our resource first of all, because we miss a space here. And now we can add more resources. Cleaning team number 1 will not be able to handle all of it. So let's add cleaning team number 2. And we need to provide cleaning team working 2 with a working schedules every single day. But this cleaning team begins early at 8 a.m. but they go home early at 16 or 4 p.m. They're active since today, and we create this team. They're not going on vacation yet, but if they were, we could add it here. Now let's add a truck and driver. Let's call it our truck for the furniture removal services. Truck for furniture. Great service. And now we can link these new resources with the existing services. Carpet cleaning. We're going to link it with cleaning team 1 and cleaning team 2. Furniture removal. We're going to link it with the truck for furniture. General cleaning. We're going to link it with the cleaning teams 1 and 2. Mattress cleaning. Also, we have one already linked, but we can link another right here. Cleaning team number 2. And then the sofa renewal service, not to be confused with removal, we're going to give it to the cleaning team 1 and the cleaning team 2. Now we have 5 services linked with 3 different resources. I guess it's time that we go and test all of these in our Bookla Styler app. So coming to our Bookla Styler, we have some kind of mess here from before, so we can just reload the page. Now we're going to start adding all this information here to enable our actual components here. First, we need to choose the region. Today we're using US. Then we need an API key that we can find on our Bookla platform. So let's go ahead and get that one. For that, we need to go into developer settings, and we can create a new API key. It's very important that you don't enable any of these merchants permissions, otherwise they will have access that you don't want them to have. So we can just enable the client permissions here, and we will generate a new API key. We need to name it. Let's call it freshness.com. And then we need to create it. Here, very important, this key will only be shown once. So very important that we copy this and we save it on a secure place. So I'm going to put it right here. We will also need more things. We will need the company ID. We can get that one here. We click on our company and then we can copy on the square button. Let's add it to our document here. And then we will need a service ID. Actually, we will need different service and resources ID along the whole video. So let's get all of those now. Let's go to resources and add our resources here. Let's call it Team 1, Team 2, and Truck. So this will be our IDs. And since we're checking all of our IDs, let's do a last run through all of them to make sure that we enable everything that is necessary for these resources to work. So on cleaning team number 1, we have working hours, which is all we need. Good. We also have working hours in cleaning team number 2, but on truck, we don't have working hours. So let's make this truck able to work. Very quickly enable these ones, and he's gonna work from 10 to 20 at night and create. Now we can start copying the IDs of each one of the services in case we'll need them later on. So for truck, for cleaning team number 2, and for cleaning team number 1. This IDs is the way that the platform has to communicate with itself and then project the information live whenever or wherever you integrate it into your component. Let's get the service IDs also, but before we do that, let's check if all of them are correctly built, at least with pricing. So this one, we said we're gonna build pricing later, is okay like that. This one doesn't have any pricing, so furniture removal. It will be on dollars, it will have the tax rate that we set of 10. And now we need to add the price of the furniture. So let's say the first couch will be $65. Create. And we have our pricing. General cleaning also requires pricing. We add the currency, the tax, and then the rule. For general cleaning, the duration of the service will be 2 hours and 0 minutes. And then every 2 hours, the price of this service will be $35. And if you booked 4 hours, it will be 70, and so on and so forth. We could also add a different pricing rule for different dates. So let's make this one all the way through Friday, and then add another one of 2 hours, 0 minutes for $90 on the weekends. And create. Beautiful. Now, mattress cleaning, it has pricing, and sofa renewal, it also has pricing. So we can get all the IDs of these services. This one is carpet cleaning, carpet, furniture removal, then general cleaning, mattress cleaning, thank you, notes. You think that right now we might be just doing an extra step, but it will come handy whenever we're working on the web, and then we're gonna need to have all this in one place, and it will save a lot of time, you'll see. The last one is sofa renewal. So we have all the information we need to test our components, and we have gone over each of the services and resources to make sure that all of them have pricing, working hours, and they're very well linked, and we can test everything without problems. Okay, so first of all is, like I said, to select the region in which you are. Right now, I'm building a company using dollars, but I'm actually in the EU. Let's put our API or API key. Now our company ID. So you see how handy it is to have all the data right here, very quickly to access. And then a service ID. We're gonna go with the sofa renewal. Oops, we almost missed one digit there, so gotta be careful. Boom, we have a working component. So we can see the different dates in which we can book this service, and then we see the resources, and then we can choose different times. Now, there is a lot of things that we could make to do this a little better. For example, I'm gonna start by config, and then I will go, first of all, to resources. We could change select resources for select your team. But people don't know what the team consists of. It's not like a professor or a, I don't know, instructor, maybe a car that you can choose the resource you'd like to book. In this case, it's irrelevant. So we can just go ahead and hide it. from the component. Then guest mode is very important to be enabled, otherwise people will have to register before booking, and this is not advisable if you have a business that is not very demanded or like something that people really want. Then we can go ahead and hide the prices, because I see that the pricing is on the time that you're going to book, and maybe it's not relevant information that we want to convey right now. Maybe our website already mentioned the prices, so we can hide the price. And we can do many more things. One of them is we can see our booking process all the way through, which is what we're going to do right now. So we're going to select the service that we're using, and we're going to hit continue. And then it has some required data. And it needs an email. Book now. Successful. We have a booking. So that's how simple booking is. And we can test all the different components in the same way. We can just come here and replace the service ID for another ID. Let's try mattress cleaning. And let's reset the component really quick. And now we are testing our mattress cleaning. But as you say, still unknown. We can select the day that we want the service, but we still don't know how many mattresses, or like the service requires more. And we could test all of them, but we will see this widget because we still haven't implemented any add-ons, which is what is going to take these strange bookings all the way to their maximal capabilities. Let's go there and start enabling some plugins so you see how broader this can become. To do that, we're going to go into plugins. We click on plugins and then on add plugins. And then we have a list of multiple ones. Today, we're going to use the following ones. We're going to use service add-ons. So let's go ahead and install it by clicking add and then confirming add. That's it. We have it here on our left menu. It's already there. We also will use booking rules. And then we also will use email notifications. It's a good one to add. So we need to notify people about what's going on. And then let's try promo codes for promotional events or special discounts. Finally, we need to add Stripe. So we can accept payments. Now we have a whole set of new plugins here that we installed very quickly and very easy. Let's start with the most elemental one. We need service add-ons. This is the one that I wanna actually focus on because it's what is gonna enable multiple variables in the booking besides just booking the time slot. To create the first add-on, we're gonna click on create add-on. And then we can create either an add-on as a product like shampoo or special detergent or additional hour of service, or we can create add-on groups in which people can select multiple choices of add-ons. For example, it will be this type of car, this type of car, or this type of car. Just choose one of them. Let's go and create the first one for single add-on. We're gonna create, and it's gonna be called individual mattress. Individual mattress, because you can add on an additional mattress whenever you hire this service. And then we can put a description here. Any mattress under 110 centimeters. Now, minimum quantity, 0. They don't need to choose any of them. Maximum quantity, let's call it 10 mattresses, because maybe our team cannot handle more than 10 at the same time. And then for additional individual mattress, we will charge $20 with a 10% tax, which is included. Let's create the first add-on. Now, let's create an additional add-on. Let's create double mattress. And then it says any mattress from 110 centimeters to 200 centimeters. Then the price for this cleaning will be 25. Tax 10% is included. Maximum quantity 10. Minimum quantity 0. We can create that one. And then let's create one more called extra large. Extra large. Any mattress bigger than 200 centimeters. For this super large mattress, we're gonna charge $30. 10% tax included. Maximum quantity 10. Minimum quantity 0. Create. Now we have 3 different add-ons that can be purchased on different amounts. So people can select 2 individual mattresses, 2 medium mattresses, and 1 very large mattress for the service. Now, we just created these add-ons. We need to link them to a service by clicking on Service Add-on. And we need to choose which one we're linking it to. In this case, mattress cleaning. And we're gonna link all of them to this service, and then we need to choose, is it required or does it override the price? For example, if somebody is hiring I don't know, furniture removal, this service could be more expensive because it's not the intended service. So we could make a higher price or lower price. If somebody is hiring full house cleaning, then this service could be half off as a promotion for this service, and we could override the price then. For now, we're not gonna do it, and it's also not required. Linked add-on. So we have 1 service and 1 add-on, 1 service and 2 add-ons, and then 1 service and 3 add-ons. Now we can see how this behaves. We can come back here and see our service. Let's say that we're gonna choose mattress cleaning for Friday at 10. Oh, nothing happened. Why nothing happened? Because we forgot a very important part. Go here to add-ons and enable the add-on component. There it is. Now let's see, for Friday the 3rd at 10, and voila, we're hiring the basic service for mattress cleaning. So whenever you go there, you understand that you need to pay a fixed amount for 1 mattress cleaning, but now you need to start adding more mattresses to your account. You're gonna add this. But now we need people to know the prices of these things, right? So let's go back to pricing and enable the pricing. We want people to know how much they are paying for, and then we can see how it adds up at the bottom of the booking component. So whenever you're booking a mattress cleaning for 8 a.m. on a Sunday, you know that you will pay 35 euros. And then you can add on more mattresses. It's still not very clear. We can make it even more clear. How? It says add-ons. But what if we say the following title? Select additional mattresses. Select additional mattresses. And then maybe basic includes only 1. There you go. So now we can customize the booking to however many mattresses we need. Let's say I have 1 that I hire, which is 1 price for any mattress. I guess they need to cover their gas fee, employee fee, so it's not worth coming for 1 small mattress. So, but once that they're here, it's cheaper to add 2 additional individual mattresses for my daughter and my son, and then 1 extra large mattress for me and my couple. Now we continue, and we can make this type of bookings. So as you see, we expanded the horizon of the mattress booking. Let's keep customizing another type of booking. Let's do it now with the carpet cleaning. But before we do carpets, we need to come back to Bookla platform and create this very special add-on to add the pricing. Remember that I told you that this pricing was going to be handled by the add-on, so we need to go and create this add-on. We're going to create the add-on called carpet surface. And then we can say initial service includes 10 square meters and 90 square feet. Depending on where you are, you will understand. And now every meter of carpet should have a price, so people can increase the amount of meters, thus increasing the price. Let's say, I don't know, maybe 30.5 per meter. Tax 10% inclusive. And then here is where it becomes tricky. We're gonna say that the minimum quantity to be higher is 10 meters because we're not gonna go there for less than $35. And the maximum quantity, maybe 1,000 meters. So we can clean up to 1,000 square meters. Let's go and create this add-on and link it with carpet cleaning. Individual, nope, carpet surface. This one is required because otherwise people will just book without adding the surface. Linked. Now let's go and test this new powerful Bookla component. For that, we need to add the carpet ID to our Bookla API. There it is. So as you can see here, now we have the times that we can book at. So we can book on the Monday 6th at 8 a.m. And then we need to select the surface of the carpet. And as you see, it's predetermined at 10 and I cannot go below 10. It will not let me. So there is a preset fee of 35 euros for this service. The customers is just choosing the time in which the team that cleans the carpet will arrive to their home. And this customer has a very huge house. So let's say he has 200 meters. So it's going to be a total of $700 for this service. Do we need any further information from the customer? Maybe the type of carpet? We can add later on that on Framer. I will show you how to add additional forms to request this type of information. But for now, you see the mattress can increase the amount of mattresses based on size, and this can increase the price based on the surface of the carpet. Magnificent. Let's now try the couch renewal service. Back to the Bookla platform, we need to create the add-on for couch. This one is going to be a group add-on. It's different from the single add-on, and then let's go and pay attention how to do it. The first group will be called couch size, and we can just add a small description that says select the total amount of sitting spots on your couch or couches. Good. Now we need to start adding members to this condition. So members is different options that we will provide. So let's add 6 different options. So we have 1, 2 options. So let's add members. 3, 4, 5, and 6. I just added 6 new members that you can see down here, all the way to member 6. Member number 1 will be called a small couch, one place. And then this small couch, one place, will be $0. Why will be $0? Because we're gonna make it required. So when somebody hires the service, they need to add at least one size. And this size can be one very small couch. Now for the additional sizes, the price will increase. So we have member number 2. We also need to add the text here, which is inclusive. For member number 2 is going to be medium couch. And we can add 2 seats. Price, now as becomes a medium couch, it will be $15 additional with the tax of 10% inclusive. Now for member number 3, yes, you guessed, it's gonna be large couch. 3 seats. The price for the large couch will be $25 more with the tax inclusive. The member number 4 will be 4 seating spots. And then on the description we can say can be more than 1 couch. 4 total seating spots. So do you have 2 mediums, 1 medium and 1 large? And for this price, you need to pay additionally $45 with that 10% tax inclusive. Member number 5 is going to be 5 seating spots. Can be more than 1. For this one, it's going to be 55. Don't forget about Uncle Sam or whatever uncle is called the taxes in your country. So taxes included, and the last one will be 6 seating spots. Can be multiple couches. And for this one is an additional price of $65 with tax included. Now let's create our group. Good. Now that we created our group successfully, let's link it to our service of sofa renewal. And we found it right here. And this one, it is required. And because it's required, we offer this minimal option, which is default, which is the small couch link. Now let's go and test this one. Back to the styler, we're gonna go into our documentation and we find sofa renewal. Service ID. There it is. We have availability on Friday at 10. And then there is an add-on that says select additional mattresses. We can customize this and say select total amount of seating places. And when we try to continue, we cannot because it's required. And we can say a small couch for additionally €0. So nobody is deceiving you. The price that it says there is there, 35, and you can book now at 35. One small couch, one place. Now the medium, it increased the value by €15. And this total add-on, we can say total price. Now we change total add-on for total price, and then it says select total amount of seating places, couch size, select the total amount of seating spots on your couch or couches, so people is aware of what we're doing. So with all this changing text, we can very much customize this. So I have a very large couch and then 2 small ones. It's a total of 6 seating places. I can continue and book this service with a bunch of customization, as you can see. So we choose, and then we have this very nice menu to select our size. So as you see, we have done the mattress cleaning, the carpet cleaning, and the couch cleaning. All of them are different, but they are adapting to the specific needs of this professional company. Now let's take care of the general cleaning add-ons. Coming back to add-ons. But before that, what happened if you are dyslexic like I am and you made a bunch of mistakes creating your add-ons, especially a long group, and you need to start from scratch? Don't worry, you can quickly change them. So I made these mistakes here so I can show you how to quickly edit this. So 6 seating places, 5 sitting spots, and 4 sitting spots. Now that we have it, we can just save the changes. Changes successfully saved. Okay, let's take care of the new add-ons for cleaning services. Create add-on. First one will be eco-friendly chemicals. Eco-friendly chemicals. It doesn't sound too eco-friendly, but it is what it is. Shampoo, dishwasher soap, hand soap, and surface cleaners. These eco-friendly detergents, you know that they're very pricey, so they're gonna be $99 with tax included. And you can buy up to 10 of these. In the trucks, we don't carry more than 10. And minimum quantity, 0. It's not required. We can create this. Let's create another one since we are on the mood. Oven deep cleaning. We will store the oven back to new. Sounds nice. Cleaning an oven, $45 with taxes. Not that bad deal, right? And then up to 3 of them, because we cannot clean more than 3 ovens. Who has more than 3 ovens, right? Who has more than 1 oven? Well, some people has 2, I guess. Now, next one will be bathroom deep cleaning. We will get rid of all germs. And then is 60 euros per bathroom, and then you can have 10 bathrooms. I know a lot of bathrooms. People like bathrooms. Sometimes they have more than, don't forget the taxes, more bathrooms than actual rooms. Great, we have created the add-ons. Now let's include them into our service of general cleaning. Oven deep cleaning, yes. Mandatory, no. Bathroom deep cleaning, mandatory, no. Override it. So if we were to override this price, let's say we offer it in another service just for testing, let's put it 50 euros if you already hire the house cleaning. So let's link the add-on with an override price. We still need the eco-friendly chemicals. Is required? No. It's gonna be on discount? No. Link the service. Now we can test this back into the styler. We need the service of the general cleaning, service ID, and then we just replace this with this. Boom. Now we can choose the date that we want our home to be cleaned for 2 hours minimum as we intended. Let's say at 10 a.m. But maybe we know that this home will not be cleaned in 2 hours. We need more than that. We need 4 hours, but as you see, the availability changes because our staff has a working schedule. So if you choose 2 hours, they can come up to 4 because they work until 6. But if you choose 6 hours, they can only come up to 12. And if we chose 8 hours, they can only come in the morning. So it's preset at 10 a.m. Let's decide to have a 6-hour cleaning for $105. Oh, what is all this? Select total amount of seats. No, we don't need total amount of seats. We need something different. We need add additional items. Add additional items. If you like, if you don't like. Now let's test it. We want this oven deep cleaning. 2 ovens, because we're one of these people that has 2 ovens. And then we need 3 bathrooms to be very, very nice cleaned. And since I am an environmentalist, I would like to have the eco-friendly chemicals to do this process. I would also like to add another eco-friendly chemical for me to have around. And then you would pay $543 for all this nice service. Now let's grab all of it and put it inside the website so we can test every single functionality. Let's go back to our web. Here we are, and then you need to know that I'm using a CMS collection, and then we're only gonna edit one page and all of them will be automatically edited. And then I will teach you how to handle these CMS collections with the Bookla component, because there's a few tricks that you need to note. When it comes to changing the service ID, we can add that to our collection and they will behave differently according to each one of the pages. Okay, with all that in mind, let's go ahead and add our plugin. We are going to go into plugins, browse all, and then we're gonna type Bookla. If you don't find it here, we can go to the marketplace of plugins over here and then browse plugins. On this marketplace, you will type Bookla and here it is. You click on it and then click on Open Plugin, and it will ask you in which project you want to run the plugin. When we choose the project, it will take you to this page, and then we need to go and place it inside the page that we're working on, which is service page, right? So since we're working with fixed services, for the most part, let's add a fixed component. Here it is. And the fun part begins. We're gonna paste our component inside this frame that we have, and we're gonna start adapting it to our page. So let's make it relative, and then we can choose the relative width. Let's use 93% of the width, and then the height will also be relative. Let's place it all the way there and just leave it there for now. Okay. Now, how do we make the component look like it belongs to the web? I guess we can just change this button color and match it with the main color of the other buttons of the web. We edit our component on Framer through the plugin very simply, like if we were editing any other component on Framer. So here we can change the size. For example, let's make it small. Then we can change the background color. Let's not do that for now. I like the white. But here on item, then we can change the color of this button. For example, we can make it this light green. That wasn't that, it was this one that I meant to change. You know what, maybe we can make this dark color, this one, nice. And then we can have the light green theme on the other things. Very nice. I like how it's coming along. But maybe this a little lighter, not so dark. Okay, that looks cool. Now it's time to connect the component with our company. For that, we need to add the following information down here. The region, then the API key that we have here. I told you it was going to be handy at some point, right? And then the company ID. Make sure that you copy everything without spaces. And finally, we need to add a service ID. So this is Mattress. We're going to add Mattress. There it is, our mattress component. And as you can see, it works beautifully, but there is something we need to fix here. So let's go back here, and we need to allow this component to have more length, because as we add more things, it needs to drop down. You can play around with this part. So we can make it fit content. Sorry about my editing skills. There we go. If we test it one more time, do we have this issue? No, now it can adapt. Beautiful. But there is something missing. What about the add-ons? We click on the component, and then on this panel, we can change a lot of things. When I mean a lot, is a lot. We need to make sure that guest mode is enabled, as I mentioned before. And then we can change the data and all of this. We can go over it later. But here, add-ons, we need to select yes. Okay, and now I guess we can come in closer and center the component. We have add-ons. Let's see how it's coming along. We select the date, and there are the add-ons. We still have not enough space. Let's go back and fix that. There. We test. All the add-ons, they have space, and everything is working properly. Beautiful, it looks nice. It looks like the web, you see? Little by little, we're creating an amazing web with a booking component. So now we have the following situation. We need to add, because all of these components have added already to all the different pages of our services. So we need to make each one of them unique. How do we do that? Very simple. Here on services, because it's a CMS, we're gonna click on edit CMS. And then we're gonna edit fields. And we're gonna add a new field, which will be text. Plain text. Let's call it Bookla Service ID. And that's it. So as you can see, our ID is here, but I already had one here. This is the new one we created, and I already have one created. So we can get rid of the second one. Did I get rid of the one I created before? No. So I already created this field before, and we have our Bookla ID there. Now, we need to do the same for all the other companies. We need to add the ID to each one of them. So we took care of Mattress. Let's take care of Carpet. Now let's take care of couch removal, or sofa removal, or sitting unit removal. Couch. Let's go to deep cleaning, general cleaning here. And finally, furniture removal. By just adding the IDs here, if all my math is correct, fingers crossed, everything should be working perfectly. Let's go back to our page. Let's do it from the beginning. Let's play it out. Oh, look at this nice website. They have a lot of services. So let's go and test all of them. We're gonna start with the mattress cleaning one more time. Mattress cleaning works beautifully. Now we can choose the time. You see that we change from grid to select, and it gives a different look and feel. So you can just have it however you like. To be honest, I prefer the grid. So let's make it grid again. Okay, let's continue testing. Carpet, we choose the time, and it works magnificent. Back to services, couch renewal. We can do at this time, and it says couch size and the select options. You work magnificent too. Back to services, furniture removal. Furniture removal. This time we just choose the time for the truck to arrive, and they will arrive to remove our furniture. But what happens when we test this one? This one will not work as intended, even though you can see the add-ons and everything seems to be working perfect. Remember that this one was a flexible type, and we cannot increase the duration of our service, and the price is 0. So something not working properly because we're using it on top of a fixed time component. We can work around that very quickly. So we come back here, and what we need to do actually is to add another component, a new one. So let's run recent ones, and this time we need to choose flexible. But what do we do with this component? Nothing. We're just gonna put it on top of the other. I know it sounds strange. We're just gonna place it there and put it right in the center and right at the top. And believe me, this is going to work. How is it going to work? Well, we can choose the previous component and just make it not visible for now. And let's adjust this with the same settings as the previous. If I don't remember bad, it was 93% of width and the color matching the website. So for the brand color, I remember we used this color, and for the other we used the light green. The light green, we find it here and we make it a little lighter for it to be nice. Very well. Also for this component, I don't like to show the select resource. No need for this. And then as you see there is a duration of 1 hour, which it will not apply to our service. If we go to attempt making a booking with this preset 1 hour duration, it will not show any availability. We need to customize the duration too. Before we do that, since this is a new component, let's make it work with our data. The API, the company, and the service. This is for general cleaning purposes only. And the service. Okay, we have all of these. We also need to enable add-ons. And if we didn't modify the duration, I just want to express how critical this is, nothing will happen. That's why we need to modify this specific duration over here. First of all, let's set the intervals to 2 hours. Then the minimum also on 2 hours. And we also need to set a maximum of 8 hours to match the settings that we use when creating this service, right? So with all these little adjustments, there it is. Increments, I would like them. Different dates. I forgot one thing. To make it just like the others, we need to change the size to small. Now it behaves perfectly like we want it to behave. We choose the date and then we can increase items we're selling by just the click of a button. We can increase the price by just clicking around, and then we see we have a full total of $329 for 2 hours of cleaning 2 oven cleanings, 1 bathroom deep cleaning, and 1 set of eco-friendly chemicals. Let's get rid of the eco-friendly chemicals and hire 2 more hours of cleaning. We save the same add-on preference, and then now it's 320. Beautiful. Now to make all of this fully work, let's go back to Bookla platform. We still need to take care of payments and a few more things. So for that, we're gonna go to Stripe plugin and we're gonna start connecting Stripe. When we click on Start, we need to input a secret key. Where is this secret key? Well, you'll find it on Stripe. Let's go to Stripe and we can log in. Okay, here on the Stripe platform, we're gonna click down here on the left on developers. And then we're gonna find API keys. And under the ones that they provide for the sandbox, for the testing environment, there is one called secret key. We're gonna copy that one and we're gonna go back to Bookla and put it right there. Then we need to add a success page that we have here on. Do we have a success page? Let's just make one very quickly. We're gonna duplicate this one and then we're just gonna say success. And let's get rid of this and make this bigger. Size. Success. Then we also need another one. First, let's rename this success and then let's duplicate because we need something went wrong. And we also need another one for failure. Something failed. Very simple, but you get the point. Now we need to publish these URLs. And we need the URL address. Then we also need this update. And then we need the last one. Also, don't forget to update. So we have this one because we didn't update it, but now it's success, error, something went wrong, and then we have something failed. Stripe requires this. You can then change this log, the heading, and all of these things. Let's go back to our Stripe and add the success URL. Then we need the failure. And oops, we need the failure and then the cancel redirect or something went wrong. Now we have some advanced settings that we'll cover in a different video. But for now, this is more than enough to start accepting payments. The rest we're gonna leave untouched and let's connect. Here we have our Stripe platform fully working. To test it, we need to go to one of the services and we need to change the settings to needs payment. Booking needs prepayment. Save. Nice. Now we're gonna take care of the booking rules. Booking rules is what allows you to set these rules. Can the service be rescheduled or can it be canceled? And if it's canceled, will they get any refund back? And how much will they get back depending on how long do they cancel prior to the event. Let's add a new cancellation rule for this. Let's call it cancellation policy. And then we'll select the service that it will apply to. We can leave it unselected so it can apply to all of them, or we can just apply it to the one that we made for prepayment, which in this case is carpet cleaning. If you cancel 24 hours or more before the event, you will get 95% back. We still need to cover some processing fee. And then you can add a further rule. If you cancel between 24 and 12 hours, you will get 50% back of your money. And then we create the rule. Now we need to add a rescheduling rule. Rescheduling allows, let's call it rescheduling policy. And then we will also apply it to the same service, carpet cleaning. Let's apply it to all of the services. And then if you attempt to reschedule 24 hours or prior, it will allow you. Anything sooner than that, it will not allow you. So let's make it more strict and say 48 hours and create this rule. And finally, we have contact details, very important for people to be able to contact you. Let's add this email here, and then let's just add a phone number. It's 1400. And we can have some comments. Please send an email. We currently cannot pick up the phone since most people is on vacation. Could work. Create. Now we have payments and we have cancellation and rescheduling policy. Let's go ahead and take care of the notifications. Let's create a basic set of notifications. For that, we're gonna go to email notifications plugin, and then we can create a template for merchant and customer. Let's create one for the merchant first. Here we can choose between merchant and client. So this is the first step we need to take. For now is merchant, and then we can choose the event type that will trigger this email. For now, it will be booking confirm. We can select the resources to limit it to one resource, or we can leave it unselected so it can apply to all resources. Let's leave it like this for now. Recipients, we must add a recipient email because unlike the client, they will not be typing the email when they're making the booking. So let's add an email. Now, this is the template of the email. This template can be configured with different variables. These words that you see here are different variables, and variables will take the place of real booking data. We can further customize this email with metadata, conditional logic, and many other features, but for now, let's leave it like this. We're gonna say, hey, and we're gonna use the name of the resource to make it personal to them. Hey, team number 1 or number 2. There is a new booking. There is a new booking. And then we're gonna create this template for our staff member to be aware whenever they get any bookings. Now I'm gonna create one for the clients. Create template, this time for clients, and the event type will be booking confirm. For the subject line, I will say, hello, Mr. Dot, and then we need the variable for the last name. You remember that I told you that we might be visiting the Bookla documentation. Well, we're gonna visit it because we don't know this variable. Let's go to the Bookla documentation page and find plugins, and then email notifications, and then We click here on notification creation and voila, all of the different variables. Customer last name, this is one of them. So you see, we were going to use this. And then we're gonna add it there. Hello, Mr. last name of the customer. And then he says, dear Mr. or dear first name and last name, your booking has been confirmed. Your booking details. Let's replace booking for service. Your service has been booked. Your service has been booked, and then it says booking details. Service name, resource. We're gonna change resource for cleaning team. And then it will have the name of their cleaning team. It will say cleaning team number 1. So, you know, maybe this is not relevant for this case. And it says the start date. We don't want to add the end date because it might commit us to finishing on time, and then you never know with these cleaning teams. They might take 5 minutes longer. And then at the end, we can say, by the way, if you need to change your booking, please click here, where we're going to add another variable that will allow the customer to change the booking according to the rules we just set. So it goes as follow: bracket dot manage capital URL bracket. With this link, they will be able to manage their booking. We're giving them that power. And then let's add an address link for them to find us quickly. If you need help with anything, you can come to our office here. Maps. And then let's find a very nice office in New York. Where is the office of this company? Oh, we want to make it into the Upper East Side. It's a nice company. It needs to be on the Upper East Side, right? So it's here. Let's imagine this was our office, right? So we copy the link and we put it in our email. So this should be it for the email to arrive to the client. Create template. So we have one template for merchants and one template for our customer. Let's also enable some promo codes so we can promote whenever is necessary. We can say 50% off, or you are a loyal customer, you have this promo code. Let's create a new promo code. It's gonna call code clean. Clean is simpler. And then the title of the code will be Promotional Code. Description: you can use this to get a discount. The discount can be in different ways. It can be a discount percentage, or it can be a fixed amount. For example, we're gonna set it as fixed amount of $20. Usage type, maybe only once, so people cannot abuse our promo codes. And then can we restrict it to any of the services? Let's not restrict it, so it can be applied to any service in our company. We can then set different active periods, we can collect metadata, we can do a lot more than just this, but for this example is enough. Let's create. Now we have a promotional code, we have our booking rules, and then we have our email notifications. We also have our payment gateway. Let's go ahead and give it a full run to make sure that this is fully working. Back to Framer, we're going to first of all enable the promo code field so we can also test this feature. So we select our component on the service page, and then we look for code field and enabled the code field. After that, it's very important that you update your page. Very good. And then we're gonna go to the home page and give it a full run. So we have multiple services here. Let's pick mattress cleaning. On the Saturday at 8 a.m. and then we're gonna just, this time is gonna be one mattress. We have our promo code field enabled, so let's go ahead and add our promo code clean. Look at this, from $35, now we're only paying $15. Ooh, I'm gonna add another mattress and just pay my $35 as I intended. So now I'm gonna clean 2 mattresses for the price of 1. That's a bargain right there. Let's go ahead and test this full pay. You know what? I'm gonna pay just $15 because I'm gonna take advantage of my promo code. I'm gonna continue, and then we need to fill out some data. Felix Perez, and then for the email, we're gonna use bookla.client@gmail.com and make a booking. We need to pay. Every time you're using Stripe Sandbox, you can pay with the following card: 424242424242. The date, it needs to be any date in the future, and then the rest of the data doesn't really matter. We're processing our payment. There we have it. Success! Amazing! There's only a few more things that we need to test, which are the email notifications and the rescheduling of this booking, for you not to worry about anything. For the final act, we're gonna need the emails so we can test if we actually receive the notifications. So I have these 2 empty inboxes here, and we're about to test if we actually get those. Let's go back to Framer because there is also another trick that you need to see. Remember about this service, the furniture removal, and we said that we needed further information. Let's go ahead and add these further information forms. We're gonna click on our component, and then we're gonna look for forms, custom forms. We're gonna call it additional data. And then we're gonna add one form, which will be labeled, is there any parking? This will be a select form, and then we have 2 options. Yes, no. We can add another one. Please add your address. This will be text area. Text area is just bigger than text itself. And then we need to add another one. Is it at ground level? Is it at ground level? So do we need to go upstairs, or can we just pick it from your garage? Ideally, right? And then this is a select, yes or no. Yes, no. You need to separate these fields by commas whenever you're creating select. Now let's preview this template. Let's update and go to the page. We need a furniture removal on the Monday at 10 a.m. and we don't have any promo codes. We hit continue and voila. There is all the additional information that we needed. It requires the name, the last name, the email, and then it says, is there any parking? Yes, there is parking. Please add your address. Main Street, 22nd, on the corner with Park Ave. And then we can say in front of the fire station. Front of the fire station. Is it at ground level? Yes, it's a ground level, don't worry. Amazing. Now we're going to make this booking. Before we make the booking, we need to pay. One more time. Let's go to Qatar this time. Pay. Now let's go to the emails. We must have some new emails. So the first one for the merchant. Hey, truck for furniture. Very funny. Remember, we replaced this variable with the name of the resource. If this guy was called Victor, then Victor would have gotten an email that says, hey, Victor, the name of the resource. Hey, Victor, there is a new booking, and then the date. A new booking has been confirmed, and all the booking details. What about my customer? Hello, Mr. Perez. Dear Felix Perez. So, because we use the two different variables, the first name and the last name variable. Your service has been booked. Amazing. Booking details, furniture removal, and then we remove the name of the resource because it was truck driver for furniture. We don't want the customer to see that. But now we have some more data over here. It says, by the way, if you need to change your booking, please click here. If you need help with anything, you can come to our office here. Wow, very nice, cozy office. And then we have a managing URL. If we click here, we'll find the following. Remember when we customize the details for the rescheduling policy? It was here. So this is the email we added, the phone number, and then the message we left. Please send email. We currently cannot pick up the phone. Everybody is on vacation. But here you see two interesting things. The first one, you can reschedule this booking. Yes, you can reschedule the booking because our rescheduling policy allows to reschedule any bookings with more than 48 hours for the event. But it says you can cancel this booking and you will get 0% refund. Why is that? Because if I don't remember wrongly, on our Bookla platform, on our booking rules, we limit the cancellation rule to mattress cleaning. So mattress cleaning will get 95% of the money back, but not the other services. Let's go and test it one more time so we can see how it works. So for the last test of the web, let's look how it came out. We have a nice landing page with a lot of extra things that we didn't change on the template, and we have a beautiful service booking page with our beautiful component, and then we're gonna choose last service for Sunday. For Sunday at 8 a.m. We don't have any more promotional codes, sadly, so we're gonna go ahead and just continue with the last booking. $35, remember. Let's add our names for the last time, our email, and make a booking. We need to process one last payment. And there we have it. Success. Let's go check. So to our inboxes, we see, hey, cleaning team number 2. This time is different. And then the service details. More importantly, for our customer, there is a second email, this time with a second managed URL. Let's open it up. And this time, what is different? It says you can reschedule this booking, yes, and you can cancel this booking for 95% refund as we intended. Amazing. Let's attempt to cancel. We will only get 95% back. Let's go ahead and cancel. Refund pending, minus $33.25. There you have it for cancellation policy. But before I forget, I almost forgot. Let me show you one more ace under my sleeve. Coming back to the Bookla platform, we're gonna go into bookings. And then whenever we check a booking, we can see the general information, all the way to the total that he paid, the resource, and a lot of things that we need to know. But there's one special booking that we did that had metadata. Let's find it. So where is this booking? Right here. Furniture removal. So unlike the others, there is a section called metadata. We didn't do all those forms just to waste time, right? Metadata. When we click on it, look at what it says. Is it at ground level? Yes. Is there any parking? Yes, there is parking also. Amazing. Please add your address. Main Street, 22nd, on the corner with Park Avenue, in front of the fire station. Now, this metadata could be forwarded to the staff using email and metadata. We did a full tutorial on notification emails, so I invite you to check that one if you have any doubts. Also, in the documentation, there is a lot of data, or if you need any help, drop a comment down here and we will gladly assist you with this part. So as you can see, let's go back to the framer so you can see. We built a website fully and we integrated this component and we made it work with all different kinds of different variables. So let's give it a last look. We had all the services and they all behave differently. They all have different components. They all have different add-ons. They all have their own little world, even promotional codes. Well guys, that's it for today. We managed to cover all of it. We booked services by the square meter or square feet, by the size of the mattress, by the amount of seats. We let the truck driver know our address and that there was parking. We bought those expensive chemicals, eco-friendly, from the cleaning lady that came home and she charged by the hour. But if there is something we didn't cover on this video and you need to know, please let us know down here in the comments. Please also share your thoughts of anything you want to comment. If you like this video or found it interesting, share a like with us, please. And if you know anybody that needs this information, send them this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the Bookla channel so you can stay up to date with our latest releases. Thanks for watching, it's been a pleasure. See you next time.